Okay, so it's Saturday morning. I got the parts in for Dennis Kirk, the Drag Specialties Advanced Unit. I'll show you that in a minute. So the Advanced Unit from Drag Specialties, both of these came with the full points kit, and the actual plate, which contains, here, let me show you that. So this is the plate that came with the kit. It also came with the wiring and everything. This is identical. So I probably don't even need to use this, but it'll be good to keep in the bag for future use, just in case, you never know. This is what came with it. And these look identical, like super identical. So what I did is, so I don't mix them up, I put tape on this one. This is the old one. This is for an older, earlier style Shovelhead. And that's what the issue is. Now, what I'm reading is the difference is how far these weights expand. So what I want to do is take a measurement right here, and I'm going to put this across the points, or across the weights here, kind of parallel to that top section there. I'm just going to expand these out, and that leaves us at 2058. Okay, now I'm going to take the other one, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to do the same thing. All right, twist that, 2066. So, you know, that's really close. Now the question is it the weights that are doing that, or is it the actual cam? And I'm curious about that because it has this little flat here, and as this rotates, you know, these will kind of push out, right? It's in this little that grabs here. So I'm curious, if I use the other cam from the older one, will I get the same travel? And that'll tell me if it's the cam that's actually doing it or if it's the weights. So let's see, this is the old cam on the new weights. 067. Okay, so that answers that question. The weights is what's different. This is probably identical. I'm not going to bother measuring it, but I'm going to make sure I use the proper one. This should get me that additional, like, teensy bit that I need to actually time the bike. So I'm going to put this back on the bike using this advanced unit with the existing points kit that I have, because they're identical. If we take this, you can see here's the new one, here's the old one. I don't know if I can get them side by side in the photo here, but you know, first look, like, I don't see any difference. They're exactly the same. So when I'm going to take this out anyway and just stick it on here side by side. Let's see. Since this is actually connected, yeah, so I can disconnect that. So here, if we put these side by side, you know, the question is, here, my GoPro's kind of flipping out. How are these different? And I don't think they are at all. So I might as well just go with the whole new one, right? And the reason I'm going to do that is because it looks like this little piece up here is a little bit more robust than this. And one of the problems that I had, and I saw this in a couple other videos, is when you put this old unit in there, you can't get this thing to points to open no matter what you do. You can get one side all the way to the other and it won't do it. But seeing this new one here, you know, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to go with the new one. So I just need to put that little tab piece in there so it connects to here. I'll put the new weight set in there and readjust the points. So the other thing that I did is I went back just to sanity check on everything. And I wanted to make sure I understood this whole revolution, how this particular flywheel works. Like, I understand loosely how it works, but you know, sometimes my brain just doesn't wrap around things the way it should. So what I'm learning is, okay, I have the double dot in there. That's the advance mark. The first mark that comes up is going to be, I believe, the rear top dead center, which is going to be a dot. Then you'll see the advance mark, and then you'll see the front top dead center. So the top dead center on this motorcycle with this flywheel, this is a 1983 Shovelhead. It's a late model flywheel. And the book, according to the book, which we figured out last time, the line is the front top dead center, the dot is rear top dead center, and the double dot is the advance mark. So this is where you get into that idea that you have to kind of turn the cam full advanced when you're installing this. So what happens is, you know, you're traditionally, you remember, hey, I've done this before on other bikes. That line is advanced. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to slam that cam all the way, and you know, to full advance, and that's where I'm going to lock it down. So what that does, if I get this right, is you're over retarding the bike, meaning it's never can actually get to advance, right? As the bike turns, as the weights expand, the advance is going from full retard up to 0. And that explains kind of like why I had no power going up hills, because it was never being able to advance. These are S&S Performance heads. I have a high torque cam. Those two things probably is what really gave me all the power I needed to get up those hills at the lower RPMs. So what I'm going to do is the static method, kind of similar that I did on the pan head, which is setting it at retard. So what you do is you set the front top dead center, you put the cam, you put everything in, and you put it in with the weights relaxed. What that's saying is, we're at full retard, we're at top dead center, that's where it's going to be. The moment you turn the engine, right, as the RPMs go up, those weights are going to come out, and now you're going to start to advance. So there's two ways of looking at it. You can say that, well, we're going to set top dead center as the extreme retard setting, or you're going to go to the advance mark, set that as the full advance setting. I think because of my experience with the panhead, I'm going to go with the retard method again and see if that does any better. And the reason I'm going to do that is because apparently what I've been reading is that is the correct method that Harley says for this bike, or I should say for this motor, if you don't have the locking tool. And I've seen people online, you grab it with a pair of pliers, you know. It's like, what are you grabbing with a pair of pliers? You're grabbing this beautiful machine piece here, you're grabbing a pair of pliers or a screwdriver and you're yanking it in there and marring it up. That makes no sense to me. So Harley does make a tool to lock this in place in full advance to do that. But, you know, it just seems like a lot of work. So stand by, I'm going to get this all set up, and I'm just going to put it back together. I don't think you need to see that if you've already seen it already. I'm sure 50 times or more online. And then once I get that in there, then we'll go through setting up the static timing. And hopefully that will put this issue to bed, and I'll be able to make it up hills at high RPM without struggling. So something I just noticed here. This is the new unit. And I remember when I opened it up, this thing fell out. I was like, what the heck is that? Well, it looks like it was broken in the bag. It's missing a little tab there. So I'm going to take the one off the old, off of here, and use that since it's still working. Okay, so I have the points kit in. I did notice there is a slight difference between this base plate and the old one, and that's basically this arm here. It seems to have a little bit more meat on it, and it comes up closer to this little spring. So everything is in. I'm running the wire this way and this way instead of both of them this way. So what I did here is I set this on the top of the lobe, and I set my points to 018. And the reason I did 018 is all the reading I'm doing is saying that that's where you need to be. 018, 019. I spun it around, checked on the heel, spun around again, checked on here. It's 018, 019 between the two. So I'm going to go with that. I can always change that if I need to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bike on top dead center with the line in the middle. Then that'll allow me to set the twist the base plate so I can get just to the points open, and then that's where I'm going to lock it in. That's going to be set at full retard, top dead center. So what happens then is as we rev up, the weights are going to expand and it's going to advance it. It may or may not advance all the way to the double mark. I do have one of those little clear plastic timer hole inspection windows. I just have to dig it out. So maybe what I'll do is after I get all this together and outside and I have it running, let it warm up, then I'll stick the timer light on it and just to see, you know, where exactly that is showing in the window, and if I need to tweak it I can do it at that time. But for now I'm just going to static time it using a full retard method, which is top dead center, weights relaxed. You twist this until the point's just open and lock it in, and that's where it's going to fire when you first start the bike, right on top dead center. Now here's the other thing, because I have Performance Heads by S&S and I have a cam and I'm using solid lifters, you're going to expect a little bit more compression in the engine. Okay, that may or may not cause knocking, so I'm going to go with the 0 TDC mark and see how that goes. I may need to back it off a tiny bit to retard, you know, 1 or 2 degrees, but I won't know until I'm actually starting to ride. Alright, at this point I'm at top dead center. You can see the cam is just slightly off, right? This is where people will go ahead and turn this and try to hold that in there with their fingers and turn that. That's obviously a horrible way of doing it because you can't fit 3 hands in there. You need one hand to hold that, one to turn it, and another to tighten it. Now I know that they say the Harley mechanics need 3 hands, and you know, because when you're adjusting those push rods on the old panhead, you know, you have 3 different wrenches you have to hold. They seem to make that a little bit easier with the newer ones, so you only have to hold 2 wrenches. Good. Anywho, so before I just spun this around, I was on the big flat, and I came up here and I noticed all these were solid and these weren't turning, or these were turning and these were not. So I spun it around again to the line in the center. I'm right there, right on the advance, right on that mark, just prior to it, and then I can actually get some movement here in my intake exhaust rods, which tells me I'm on a compression stroke. My front valves are closed. I'm on TDC. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the whole points thing. Okay, I have it right at that spot. If you notice, I do have some movement. I can move back and forth still. So the lights are on. That means that as soon as I adjust this, that light goes off. That means the points are open. So I'm just going to very, very tiny bit. I'm turning it this way, clockwise. Whereas before, I was extreme clockwise and I couldn't get it to do it. So I'm going to go ahead here, just very carefully see if I can get my screwdriver in there, get something to grab. Whoop. All right. As soon as that shuts off, boom, right there. It seems like a little bit too much movement, but I'm going to tighten these down. Give me 1 minute. All right, it said to have the ignition turned on to do this, so make sure I get it right. And I'm going to go back a tiny bit and then forward. Boom, right there, just so it shuts off. Now, what that's saying is when that line hits that center of that window, those points are going to open. All right, move this in my way here. Now, hopefully that didn't move it too much. So that should be pretty close. So, all right, I'm going to go with that. And I do just need to double check something on the instructions. All right, just went back, checked my instructions, so this is correct. Right now I'm just going to rotate this around 720 degrees. What's that? It's twice around. So that should give me, I should be able to see those points open exactly again when that, just about when that hits top dead center. So let's here's that's 360 degrees. I just want to see here if that shuts off where I'm at the back. Okay, it should be on top of that center. Let's see. Yep, the line is right in the center. So this is the retard method. Okay, this says basically the do not hold the advanced weight out method. Politically correct term. The do not hold the advanced weight out method. It sets your base retarding timing at TDC on the front cylinder compression stroke. As RPM rises, the mechanical advance unit with the slightly longer travel you noticed on the new kit will automatically swing the weights out and move the timing to the double dot mark at full advance 35 degrees BTDC. So I double checked. I have that clear plastic plug, so right now I'll leave this cover off for now because I do want to see, I think I do want to try using the timing light once I get this outside and make sure that it actually does what it needs to do. And in the meantime, and by the way, I had the ignition on. It said to have the ignition on for this. Without the ignition on, it was weird, like the light would still come on, like it wasn't fully grounded out properly. So just something to remember. I guess it's not necessary on some bikes, but this one it does. It wants you to have the ignition on. So I'm going to button all this up and call this done for now. And I need to put in the new risers, but maybe I'll make a different video on that, although I've already done it a few times. We'll see. All right, thank you. Well, I got the old Shovelhead buttoned up and ready to take outside and test, but it's raining today, and you know I work full time, so I don't always get to jump on this when I want to. So I decided I'd jump on this, put these new risers in that I got here, but I'm missing the bolts. These are, I think, I forget what they are, so I had to order some bolts for that, which aren't going to be here for about a week. So I think what I'll do is just kind of put this stuff here. I have these brackets that I bought. Here. Oh. These are some brackets I can mount to kind of put sort of a bar, and then that bar I can then mount my Speedo, assuming I'm going to keep the Speedo. But either way, what I had there wasn't working. These are gnarled, but they weren't holding very well, and once I get the new bolts in and everything, we'll see how that goes, and I might still have to try to redo that, and I don't plan on filming all that. Yeah, we'll see. So in the meantime, I figure I'd just kind of clean up the shop a little bit because it's been a mess here. And let's see, I also have these parts that I bought for the pan head. And this is just, it even came with the bolts, which is really cool. I figure for now I can just cover this up until I can get the time and money to paint it right. I also got these tips for the front fender trim kit. I think these are right for the 60 dual glide, but like I said, this isn't all original, so I'm not going too crazy and looking for original parts. I did look for fenders, but forget it. You know, it's like $1,200 for a rear fender. This is a Shovelhead fender, at least that's what people tell me. Although it has rivets here, so I'm not sure. I have to look at that closer, but I was told that this is a Shovelhead fender. Pinhead fender that's in garbage condition is like $1,200. And I've looked at these bikes online. I understand that there are some differences in how these are mounted, the bracket used for the 1960. I'm pretty certain they're original tanks though, but the fenders I'm not sure. But you know, it looks good, and I'm happy with it. So I'll just put a little bit of bling on it to cover up those nick marks, and hopefully that will just make it a little bit prettier to ride down the road on till I can strip all this and repaint it. I want to see if I can get this paint too, which is by Ford. I do have some of it, as you see in the previous video, but it's 35 years old, 45, 40 years old, I don't even know. But in any goodness, it actually touched up okay. You can't see all the nicks and stuff that were on the tank earlier, you know, unless you get really close. You know, there's one here, you can barely see it, nick here and a nick here. So you know what, that's okay. As long as it looks good from about 10 feet away, I'm happy. And who knows, maybe one of these days I'll fix it up. But that's a huge undertaking to make this original, because most of these parts, you know, the lower end is original, the top, the heads are original, but I have different aftermarket jugs on there. I do have the original jugs, but they'll have to be taken apart, re-sleeved, so maybe that's a project for the future. That's not an original tank. This is not the original transmission. If you notice, it has the vent right here and not on the cap, and it also has a vent here, which this is just an aftermarket kind of new old stock looking part. I think I traced this out to be like a 39 transmission at one point, but I'm not really sure. I haven't taken this out on the road because I just haven't had time. And I was hoping to take it out today, but it's raining, so I'm not going to take it out in the rain. So what I'll do, I'll just put these together here and, you know, zip this video up and send it. Alright, let's get started. Well, that did not work out as expected. The parts I bought don't fit this fender. And this fender, I don't know how to identify it. There's no parts on it. I took a picture of it, sent it up to Grok, and Grok said it's probably a 54 to 80 aftermarket, but it doesn't fit the trim. So I'm going to go ahead and just forget about that and come back to that later. So for now, I think we're just going to be waiting for parts for this for the next week. And you know, while I clean it up here, I found some brackets I could probably use, and a little cleanup over here so my shop is at least usable again. So until next time, thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll get this out on the road within the next few weeks to be able to test it. And you know, who knows, maybe there's going to be some bike shows in the area I could take it to. Take care, everyone.